Okay, the production process begins with worker weighing out ingredients on electronic scale and then placing them in a machine for mixing. A worker then manually removes the mix from the machine and shapes it into loaves by hand. Okay, imagine that there's some material still sticking to the machinery because it is manually removed from the mix. Don't you think it would decrease the yield? Yes or not? Because yield, if less material, if still some material is sticking, definitely it won't be, it would have an impact. That would be considered to be as loss because that amount won't be converting into any of the loaves, right? It would give rise to the loss and it would reduce the yield, right? And after which the bread is placed into the oven for baking. All baked loaves are then inspected by quality inspector. They are packaged and made up ready for sale. Any loaves which fail the inspection are donated to a local food bank. Okay, here's the standard cost card. Okay, it's in grams and it is in rate is in kg. I can just divide it by 1,000 and then I can convert each one of this. This is basically the standard kg per unit I have, right? And from here, I will be able to calculate my mix as well. Okay. And this is input. It's no output. I always take the input quantity, right? I always take the input quantity. And budgeted production of mixed bloomers was 1,000 units for the quarter, although the actual production was 950. The actual quantity used and the actuals, this is the standard price per kg. I'll be needing that. I'll be needing that for mixed variance as well as for yield variance. Okay. And this is what? This is the actual mix. Actually, what are you inputting for white flour, whole grain flour and yeast? This is and what is the total actual quantity input? Basically, I'll be needing that as well, right? I'll be needing that as well. So it is 570.5. Okay. So let me do this on Excel. First of all, we are calculating the mix variance and there are three ingredients, three material. Our mixed bloomer is made up of white flour, whole wheat, whole grain flour, and yeast. And if you can see their prices, what do you think is the most expensive is basically this ingredient, whole wheat flour and yeast. And if we are going to use deviate from our standard mix with what it is, and if we are going to use more of the expensive ingredient, definitely our mix variance would be adverse, and it will always would be the net impact of all, right? The net mix variance. Okay, so what is the formula of the mix variance? So it is actual quantity in standard mix it is actual quantity in standard mix, or you can write it like this as you like. Actual quantity in standard mix, actual quantity in actual mix, and then you get a difference. Okay, even if you write it, you need to wrap text and then expand the column and then it will fit in. Okay, and then what you get is the difference in kgs then you multiply it with standard price per kg and then you get the cost variance. Then you get the cost variance. Okay. Now, first of all, I told you need to know the actual quantity and then you need to know your standard mix. Let me see my standard mix. So I need to convert it. These are the three ingredients. Let me see their standard mix. I need to convert it 450 grams, 450 divided by 1000, 150 grams, 150 divided by 1000 and 10 grams 10 equals 10 divided by 1000. So this is, and if I take this total sum of this, Okay, this is 0.61. How I calculate my standard mix? So 0.545 divided by 0.61. Okay, and if I make it absolute as well, because every time it will be divided with this. So let me make it absolute, shift and dollar. I would insert that, shift and dollar, and then control C and control V. Okay, and I convert it in the percentages as well. So means 74% I'm going to use, out of 100%, 74% I'm going to use the white flour. That is basically my standard mix. Whenever I will deviate from the standard mix, 25% it has to be whole grain flour and 2% it has to be the yeast. So starting with my actual quantity input, I can write it down here as well. 408.5 it is. 408.5 and then 152 and then 10. If I add up what is my actual quantity, first I told you you need your standard mix and then you need your actual quantity input. Once you have that, you're able to know what the actual quantity should have been input in the standard mix and what it actually input. Okay, and then it will have an impact on the variances. So actual quantity, so what I'm going to do, see why I'm going to do that, it will save a lot of your time. So 0.5, instead I can apply the percentages to 570.5 as well. Okay, it's up to you how you do it, but I'm doing it like this. 0.45 divided by 0.61 into 570.5. I'm not linking anything. See why I'm not linking my cells. Control C and control V. And now I can only change, because this is going to be the same, this is going to be the same. Now I can just change it to 0.15, because this, the proportion of this is 0.15 and its proportion is 0.01. Okay, and then see, I told you there's no, when it's mixed, there's no difference in the quantity. The quantity has to be the same. Only the proportion of it is different. Okay, you're using one less, so other one more. So definitely, if one is pricey, the other one is expensive, it will have an impact on the cost, and there'll be some cost variance. That is what we measure in the mix variance. Okay, next, what I'm going to do is this minus this. Control C and control V. Okay. And then what is standard price per kg? 1.8, 2.2, 1.8, 2.2, and the third one is 20. And then convert it into cost, and then we can analyze reasons for the variance, right? Control C, control V, and then net off this as well. Yeah. So my mix variance is adverse. Now we need to know the reasons that why is it adverse? Why is it adverse? As you can see that instead of using 74% of white flour, I've actually used it less. So I've saved it here. It wasn't that expensive ingredient. I've saved some cost here. As you can see that. This is cost saving. I saved some cost here. But then what happened? I was supposed to use whole grain or just 25%. I actually used it more. And also just 2% of yeast, but I actually used it more. So I used 11.7 kgs of this more and 0.64 kgs of it more. I used 12.3 kgs of white flour less. If you can see, this is, I'm using less. So in order to compensate it, I'll use the other more. And if you can see that this is minus 12.3 equal to these both. The net of these both is equal to minus 12.3. And overall, if I take a sum of this, there shouldn't be any difference. If there's no difference here and this figure is 0, it has to be 0 all the time. Okay, because in mix there's no difference in the quantity. There's no quantity change. If you are using less of this, if you're using less of this, so you will, in order to compensate it, you will use more of the other. And when you're using more of the other, so this is the cost which is increasing. When this is the cost saving and this is the cost increasing, increase in the cost is 38, but the saving is 22. So the net impact would be adverse. So you need to understand the variances as well while you are calculating it. So I've used the expensive ingredient more than what was in the standard, and less expensive less. Okay, that is the reason of the net adverse variance. Okay, so next what I'm going to do, I need to calculate the yield variance as well. So I told you the few columns which are same, so I just copy paste down there. I haven't done anything else. I told you yield variance is standard quantity in standard mix, and you compare it with the first column of this is same as the second column of the yield. This is the same as this. So what I can do is, to make it real quick, okay, what I can do is I can just copy from here. Look, I'm just going to copy it down here, and my answer would be correct. Standard quantity in standard mix. Now here I need to recalculate this column. I told you the first column of this is the second column of the yield. I just copied it here, okay? And then I need to update these figures as well. This is standard quantity in standard mix, and I need to update this. Now, what is the formula for standard usage? You have the standard kg per unit. This is the standard kg per unit, right? Right in front of you. For wheat flour, for whole grain flour, for one loaf, this is the standard kg. For yeast, this is the standard kg. And you also know the actual units. The actual units are 950. So how I'm going to do that now, real quick, you see that equals 0.45 into 950 equals 0.15 into 950 standard usage per unit into actual unit. That's what I'm doing. I'm not doing anything else. And for the third as well, equals 0.01 into 950. So this tells me the standard quantity input. That should have been input. And consider this as to be your actual quantity. And you see the yield variance is favorable. I told you there's some interdependence as well. If I'm using the expensive ingredient, definitely the wastage would be less, so yield would improve. So actually what happened here, I was supposed to use 579.5 of the input material as per the standard for the actual units. But I actually used less, and I saved some materials. So definitely I saved some cost at the same time. 19.77 favorable. Okay. So actually what happened here for wheat flour, I was supposed to use 427.5. I actually used it less. And then when I'm going to use it less, definitely I'll be able to produce more. Yeah. So I saved this kgs, and in terms of this is my cost saving. And I saved 2.2 kgs of this, and I saved 0.14. So this is favorable. This individual is favorable, favorable, favorable. See, I haven't done anything. I just copied it down exact here. Then chain number 2 I did. I just copied this cell because the first column is same as the second column. And what else I did? I just applied this formula. Standard kg per unit into actual units 950 was mentioned in the question, and I didn't do anything else. I was good with it, and the rest of the formulas are already there. And now I get a yield, and now I know the reason because I've saved this cost here, this cost here, this cost here. So the net impact is 19.77 saving, cost saving. So at times when you're using expensive, it can have impact on the yield to be favorable, but at times it happens that even if you mix is adverse, the yield can also get adverse because maybe the labor wasn't trained, they wasted more, even despite the good quality of material of input they used. So okay, next is the usage variance. Okay, next is the usage variance. If I go to the question, I'm actually required to, the first working is I'm actually required to calculate the material usage variance up to 2 decibels. Yeah. So I would go back here and let me tell you, I would just once again copy it down here. this will be for usage variance. What is the formula for usage variance? It is standard usage minus actual usage. What do you think the standard usage is? Isn't this the standard usage? Yes. The first column of this is basically the first column for usage variance as well. You see that here? And I actually supposed to copy it down there. Actually cut paste it. I'll just copy it down here. The first column is basically okay. I just brought it here. The first column of the yield variance is the first column of the usage variance as well. Standard usage minus actual usage. What do you think is the actual usage? Isn't this the actual usage? Yes, this is the actual usage. So I'll just copy it down there. Okay. So I haven't done anything else. See, I get my answer. I get my answer of the usage variance. Even if I net these two figures here, it will, if I net these two both, this will give me the answer for the usage variance. This is mix variance, this is yield variance, so this is your usage variance, net of the. And also I haven't done, I just took the first column of this and the second column of the mix, and there I go. There I go. That's the usage variance. Okay. The usage is also favorable because you have saved more than what you have lost here. So the result is usage variance is favorable. So the answer is okay. So okay. So how we calculated the usage variance? The usage variance is standard usage minus actual usage. Okay. So what do you think this is? This is the standard usage. I just copied this column here. Okay. Okay. And what do you think this is? This is the actual usage. The first column of the mix would be the second column of the usage variance, and the first column of the yield variance is basically also the first column in the usage variance. I just copied it down here and haven't done anything else, and this is favorable. The usage variance is favorable. Even if I net off both these figures here, this is mix and this is yield, so it gives rise to favorable variance. And we need to write the values up to 2 decimal place. Okay, so the answer is 3.30. I'll write it as 3.30. For example, the examiner asked you to calculate the answer up to 2 decimal place and you write it correctly as 3.3, you won't get any marks. 2, you will lose your precious 2 marks. So you have to be dead clear, dead right. Has to be the right answer all the time. Okay, next, select 2 boxes to indicate the material mix variance, whether it is favorable or it is adverse. So what was the fixed mix variance? It was adverse, okay, and it was 16.51 adverse. It's a hot area question. You need to select 2 boxes here. Once I will select this box and the other one I will select this box, okay. Okay, this little correction here, this is favorable, right? Okay, next, here I need to calculate my yield variance. What is my yield variance? Yield variance is 19.77 favorable. 19.77 favorable. So once I will select this cell and then I will select this cell. This is clearly a mistake in the book. Okay, it is 16.51 adverse and we have rightly calculated. And yield variance is 19.77 favorable. We have rightly calculated it. Okay, and yes, there's a mistake over there in the book. Okay. Next is Okay, indicate by selecting the relevant boxes in the table whether each of the following statement, again hot area question, and I need to select the relevant box whether it's yes or no, and there are a couple of statements, there are three statements here. By indicating the relevant box in the table below whether each of the following statement will result in an adverse material yield variance in organic bread company. So think of what could cause the adverse material yield variance, right? You're using more material, losses more, and all of those things, right? Not fully removing the mix out of the machinery, leaving some behind. Would that cause an adverse material yield variance? Is it true or false? Yes or no? This is yes. Errors in the mix causing substandard loaves and rejection by the quality inspector. If it's not a good output, again, it is a loss for me, okay? And that is due to substandard loaves. I told you, favorable material mix variance, when you're not, mix is not of a good quality, it will have an impact on the yield, yeah? For example, the dough isn't good to make pizzas nice, or dough, it depends upon the dough how you actually what inputs you're in there in order to be able to convert it into more loaves. So definitely errors in the mix, errors in the recipe what you're inputting, and you get a substandard output, definitely, and it will just have an adverse material yield variance. Yes, an unexpected increase in the cost of flour introduced by the supplier, that will not have an impact on material yield variance, okay? Because unexpected increase, that is about the actual price. Actual price would always be impacted in the material price variance, because then usage variance, whether it's mix or yield, we always take the standard price. Whether the actual price increase or decrease, it won't have any impact on the yield variance. So this is definitely a no here. Next, indicating by selecting the relevant boxes in the table below whether each of the following statement would result in material mix variance in organic bread company. Okay, which of this would result in material mix variance? Okay, what could cause the material mix variance? There's three statements here. The production manager in organic bread company deviates from the standard mix. Would that cause the material mix variance? Clearly, yes. The selling price of the mixed bloomer changes. Okay, the selling price is changing. It has got nothing to do with the material mix variance. It's not about the price of the mix. Yeah, definitely if selling price we are changing due to maybe good mix and good adverse mix and good yield, and we are able to reduce our cost and we are changing the selling price for good. But that would have an indirect impact, but directly it has got no impact. And changing the selling price, it's an external matter. It has got nothing to do with the material mix variance. So it's a clear no. An inferior quality of flour or yeast is used unknowingly. Okay, an inferior quality of flour or yeast is used unknowingly. Would that impact the yield? Again, it's no. Why? Again, it's no. An inferior quality of flour or yeast used unknowingly may yield to a yield variance, but it will not have any impact on the mix variance. And here we are talking about the mix variance. Okay, when you're changing the mix and the cost changes of the actual mix, that will only cause the material mix variance. But if you're an inferior quality flour and the proportion, it would depend upon the proportion of how it is changing. The quality itself, if it was an inferior quality, it would have an impact on the yield variance, because that's the output coming out. So it's a no again. Okay. In this question that we did earlier, we were not given any actual output. Okay. It was all input related, and we were given the standard kgs as per unit as well. So it was easier to calculate even the mix variance as well as the yield variance. But at times, there's some losses as well, which is inevitable in the processing industry. Yeah, there's some expected loss, which is normal loss and the standard loss. Okay. For example, in that question, there was no loss. For example, there's normal loss in the question, and then you need to calculate the mix. When there's loss, whatever you input, you're going to change, you're going to take that. And in mix, when it's input, okay, and loss is impacted, output gets impacted by the loss. So it won't impact the mix variance, but definitely the loss will have an impact on the yield variance. And also, for example, you are given the actual output. Instead, for each of the material, instead of being given a standard kg per unit and then multiply it with actual units and then calculate for each material, calculating the standard quantity and standard mix, you're not given that. You're not given the standard kg per unit. And now what you're given is, you're given two things. You are given the actual output, and also you are given in the question, you are given your normal loss percentage. The two things you are given. You're not given the standard kg per unit into actual units, so that for yield you're able to calculate standard quantity and standard mix and then compare it with actual quantity in standard mix. That was the first column of the mix variance. Yeah, but you're not given that. So how you're going to calculate from this output what is basically standard quantity and standard mix? Standard quantity in standard mix is basically your standard usage for the actual, right? Standard usage for the actual, okay? And for example, I take an example that I am given this standard quantity of 5,000, actual output is 5,000 kgs, okay? And the standard loss was 10%. So how would I know the standard quantity input for this actual quantity of 5,000 kgs? I can do that actually, because I know that 5,000 kg is 90%. Can't I get 100% of that? Once I get 100% of that, I can easily apply the standard mix to it, and I'll be done with this calculation, standard quantity and standard mix. I was given the total actual output. It wasn't corresponding to any of the material, but here I needed for all three materials standard quantity and standard mix. So first step, I identified my actual output to be 5,000 kgs, and then I identified my standard loss, and now I'm good to calculate the quantity input to get the desired output, which would be inclusive of normal loss. So I need to gross it up because I know 5,000 is 90%, and I need, let me open up the calculator. So 5,000, if I know is 90%, and what I input quantity should be inclusive of the loss, because normal loss is always embedded in the budget, because that's the standard quantity input required for the actual output of 5,000. So the input quantity becomes this 5,555 kgs. And now I will know the standard mix percentage. Yeah, I can just apply the standard mix percentage to 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, it would be, so now I get the standard quantity, and then I can apply standard mix to the standard usage I calculated here. But for that, you need to know the standard mix. So I'll know that because I've already calculated the mix variance. I would know the standard mix. So once I have the standard quantity input, I can apply the standard mix, and then I can get the standard quantity, standard mix for each one of these material in order to calculate the yield variance. Okay. So here's a question right in front of you here. Let me just explain it. Another page, add another page to it, and okay, now I'm good with it. Okay, so here's the question. Okay, here's the question. So what it is, let me take you very logically, and the steps I told you, as per the steps I told you. Okay, so it is, okay, I'm good. To produce 19 liters of product X, okay, a standard input mix of 8 liters of chemical A and 12 liters of chemical B is required. Okay, this is what? This is the, basically the standard mix is telling me that to produce 19 liters of product X, I need to input 8 liters of chemical A. So this product is made up of two chemical. One is chemical A and the other one is chemical B made up of two material and those are interchangeable. Okay. So what is 12 plus 8? This is 12. I require 12 liters of 8 liters of chemical A, 8 liters. I require 8 liters of chemical A and I require 12 liters of chemical B. Okay. 12 plus 8 is 20. But as per the question, to produce 19 liters of product, say what is the output? Output is 19. So what do you think if this is the input quantity and you will be needing for mix, you will be needing the inputs only. Don't focus. But for output, you are concerned. So from here, I can calculate this some standard loss as well. What is the loss during the process is 1. So what I get to be my standard output is 19, right? So what is, the loss is always the percentage of the input. So what is the loss percentage if I want to find out the normal loss percentage? So 1 is what percentage of 20? So it would be 1 divided by 20 into 100. So basically it is 5%. Normal loss is 5%. Why I'm calculating that? Because when I'll be calculating the yield variance, once I know the actual output, I need to incorporate my normal loss percentage of 5% in order to get the standard quantity. And standard quantity is the quantity required for the actual output. Okay, and then I need to apply the standard mix percentage to it. Okay, so what is the mix variance? Mix variance is actual quantity in standard mix minus actual quantity in actual mix will give you the difference in kgs and then you multiply with standard price per kg and you get a cost variance. Okay, that's the table. And the two chemicals, chemical A and chemical B. And basically in this question, I need to calculate the mix as well as the yield variance. Okay, so what other information is given here to me? Chemical A has a standard cost of 20 per liter and chemical B has a standard cost of 25 per liter. I need that both for yield variance as well as for the mix variance. So I'll just note down that 20 and 25. Cost is 20 and 25. I'll be needing that 20 and 25. Okay, what else is there? During September, the actual results showed that 1850 liters of product X were produced. What do you think it is? I told you identify from the scenario the standard loss percentage, number 1, and then identify the actual output. Then you're good to calculate the standard quantity input. And you already know the standard mix. If from here I want to calculate my standard mix, this is 8 by 20, 12 by 20. That's the standard mix. So I'm good with everything. I'm good with everything. And I also need to know my actual quantity in actual mix. So I'm also given that 1850 is basically my actual output, right? It is my actual output. But I'm also given my actual quantity input because this is what I need here, the actual quantity input. I'm also given that. During September, the actual results showed that 1850 liters of product X were produced using a total input of how much? Now in 900 liters of A and 1100 liters of B. What do you think the sum of it is? 900 plus 1100. The sum is 2000. Out of this 2000 input, what I get to be as my output is 1850. So that means the rest of is my actual loss. Here the actual loss is 150. I'm not concerned with the actual loss in any of this calculation, but just to show you what is the actual loss percentage of input. 150 divided by 2000, it will give you an idea about the yield, whether it would be adverse or it would be favorable. So it is 7.5%. Actual loss is 7.5%. Standard was 5%. That means my yield would be, maybe it would be adverse. I've lost more than what I was required to. So I'm not concerned with that. Now, move back to my calculation, mix and yield. Let me write the formula for yield variance as well. Standard quantity, standard mix, that's the additional column. Next, the first column of this is same as the second column of this, actual quantity and standard mix. Then you get a difference in kg and then you convert it into cost by multiplying it with standard price per kg and you get a cost variance. That I need to calculate both for material A as well as for material B. Okay, now actual quantity and standard mix. What is actual quantity? I am required with actual quantity input. So what is, I'm going to write the actual quantity input here. It is 900 and 1100. So the actual quantity input was 2000. Now here I want to apply actual quantity in standard mix. So just do it. Just do it. 2000 into 8 by 20 and 2000 into 12 by 20. You will get your standard mix here. So I'm just going to do that. 8 by 20, it is 8 by 20. I'm not going to take 19 because mix is not concerned with the output. It's concerned with the input and losses. Don't worry about the losses. 8 by 20 into